Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today we have with us Dr. Jaydeep Choudhury, who is the Professor of Pediatrics at the Institute of Child Health, Kolkata. Sir, welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank
Sumitha.
you so much for taking the time to be with us today. And today we will be discussing some aspects of dengue, the disease, as we are, there are unseasonal rains. And well, we do expect that the disease burden is going to increase. And then we shall be talking about the dengue vaccine. So let's begin by trying to understand, is dengue really a global disease, or is it just restricted to certain geographical areas?
See, right now, if we discuss the world scenario, dengue is definitely a global disease. Now, as per the WHO estimate, there were about 100 to 400 million infections and 40,000 deaths annually. And dengue is endemic in more than 100 countries, and uh, nearly 4 billion people are at risk of developing dengue infection. If we see the different parts of the world, say the American region, there the Brazil is the largest contributor to the global incidence of dengue yearly. They have the largest share. Then there are Argentina, Mexico, Colombia, Peru, Paraguay, and others. If we shift to uh, Southeast Asia, there we will find Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, the Philippines, Thailand. They all have cases. Of course, in South Asia, India is a large contributor along with Bangladesh and Pakistan. And if we move to Eastern Mediterranean and Africa, there we have the Kenya and other African countries. So it's a disease of the world and not only limited to countries like India and Bangladesh. So it's a global disease, definitely.
Right, right. So you have actually elaborated the various countries, and as we have heard from you, across the globe, dengue is prevalent. So if we move to our own country, can we say that it's endemic in our country, and are there any specific serotypes, which are noted in our country, sir?
Yes, dengue is definitely endemic in our country. Uh, though there are fluctuations in the number of cases, say last year we did not have so many cases, last 1 or 2 years, but it comes in cycles. There may be a surge this year or the coming year also. ICMR has analyzed over 6,000 lab confirmed samples collected through 45 diagnostic labs, and that's between 2023 and 2025. And these findings reveal a very complex viral landscape characterized by a widespread hyperendemicity. And every surveyed state showed co-circulation of at least two viral strains. At one point of time, it was thought that dengue virus 4 was only a virus of the eastern region. It's no longer true. The 8 major states like Andhra, Gujarat, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, and West Bengal, they reported the simultaneous presence of all four serotypes. And importantly, dengue virus 2 contributed a large part of the share, nearly, more than half, about 51% of all the analyzed positive sample. This year also, till the National Vector-Borne Control Disease, they have released the data that's till April 2026. We have more than 13,300 cases of reported cases of dengue from India. And as you must be knowing that this is just the tip of the iceberg, because maybe all the cases are not reported. So yes, Dengue is endemic in India, and serotype, there is wide variation. All the four serotypes of dengue virus are prevalent in India in different proportions and in different states. And that also changes in different seasons. So that's the basic.
You have really given us an in-depth insight into the prevalence in India. And as you rightly mentioned, dengue too is there. All the other serotypes in the different geographical areas are prevalent. And very rightly mentioned that it is only the reported numbers are just the tip of the iceberg, because as we all know, several cases go unreported. So in view of all of this, definitely a vaccine is going to be beneficial. But we know that there are several serotypes of the virus, etc. So what do you feel is would be an ideal dengue vaccine, sir?
Yeah, before I go to the dengue vaccine part, because that's part of the prevention. So I must tell that the personal protection should be continued. That's often ignored. Even WHO feels that in a country where there are a lot of mosquito-borne infection, one must use the mosquito nets at night. That hardly is used in most of the households. Then other preventive strategies like the water accumulation and spraying and etc. That one should not ignore, because see, none of the vaccines ever can have 100% efficacy. So the personal protection should go hand in hand along with vaccines, because there are challenges in development of vaccines also. Now, talking about the ideal dengue vaccine, first and foremost, it should cover all the serotypes. In other words, there should be a multi-serotype equilibrium, because all the serotypes do circulate in India and most of the part of the world. And they must produce a high sterilizing immunity against all these serotypes. That's very important. Because though we know that most of the complicated dengue is with dengue virus 2, but there also we cannot ignore the other three. Of course, it should be safe irrespective of the previous dengue infection, because there is always a chance that the secondary infection is more complicated, and should have a broad coverage across different age groups. So this should be the ideal dengue vaccine that we all must look for.
Right. So, thank you for explaining the importance of the physical methods, that is, using the mosquito nets and the chemicals which are used to spray and to be rid of the larvae, etc. And of course, what should be an ideal dengue vaccine. So, if we come into the real world, we are having a vaccine which has recently received the DCGI approval. So, can you please tell us about this vaccine, sir?
Yeah, there's a lot of hue and cry about this vaccine. Basically, this is a live attenuated tetravalent chimeric vaccine where the dengue virus 2 is used as the backbone. It's genetically engineered to express the surface proteins PRM and E, which are the non-structural proteins of dengue virus of all the serotypes. The studies have been done extensively, and it has showed seropositivity against all four serotypes in baseline seronegative individuals, and about 85% after one dose and more than 99% after two doses. So that's very encouraging. And overall vaccine efficacy at 12 months against virologically confirmed dengue was 80% approximately, and against hospitalized dengue was more than 90%. The main study was the TIDE study, which was done across a few countries, and it has also showed the real world effectiveness against symptomatic and hospitalized dengue also, and that in adolescents. So that's so important. Now, this vaccine received the WHO SAGE recommendation in May 2024, and it has also WHO pre-qualified And right now it's being used in approximately 42 countries. Most importantly about this vaccine is that the ADE is avoided, which is the antibody dependent enhancement. And that was one of the hindrance about the previous dengue vaccines that was launched and then the manufacturing was stopped. Now, we know that one dengue infection offers a robust homotypic immunity, and there is also a heterotypic immunity which wanes very fast. That means the protection is not robust in a second dengue infection with a different serotype. Now, the neutralization fails and there is opsonization. When the virus infects the cell bearing the IgG receptors, there is antibody dependent enhancement. The person may be seronegative, but there is enhancement, antibody dependent enhancement due to the attachment to the IgG receptors on the cell surface. And there is increase in viral infected cells and there is enhanced inflammatory response also. Now, that was one issue with the previous dengue vaccine where it was mandatory to test the seropositivity and all that. And there was this ADE. Now, this new vaccine, which is marketed as Dengvaxia, being a live attenuated vaccine, I'm sorry, the old vaccine Dengvaxia, which was a live attenuated vaccine with yellow fever virus as backbone, was associated with ADE, and thus it was withdrawn. Now, the new DCGI licensed vaccine is, as I have told already, the backbone is a dengue virus 2, and that really negates the possibility of having ADE. So that's in that way, it's a safe vaccine.
Right, sir. So you have explained in detail about the new vaccine. Now, what ages are we looking at probably which will get licensed for use? What is the youngest age and is there any upper limit, sir?
Now, in India, the DCGI approved licensed age is from 4 to 60 years. 2 doses of these vaccines are given subcutaneously at a gap of 3 months. And it has been seen that dengue is more severe in young children and also in adolescents. And particularly the obese or overweight adolescents, they have more morbidity. Now, this vaccine has shown good efficacy in the 4.5-year follow-up in the TIDE study that we had. So, this vaccine should ideally be given at the earliest recommended age because it can be given from 4 years onwards. So, if a 4 or 5-year child suffers from dengue, then that's always a difficult situation.
Yes.
Right now, there is no booster recommendation. So it's 2 dose only as of now.
Okay. So that is probably good news, especially for the younger children, since it's licensed at 4 years. Now, sir, you mentioned that it's been licensed across at least 40 countries globally. So any shortfalls, any, adverse events, anything like that has been noted until now? Generally, overall, it is safe, but anything specific?
It has been found to be very safe. I mean, there was no reported adverse effect or also unsolicited adverse effect was not there except some local pain and swelling that may happen with any injectable vaccine. So that was not a cause of big concern. But now, considering some shortfall that came into light from the primary results of the trials that we had, in the baseline seronegative participants of the study population, there was low efficacy against dengue virus 3 and the low incidence precludes an assessment of efficacy and against dengue virus 4. because seronegative, baseline seronegative dengue virus 4 infection was very, very few. So it precluded the assessment. Now, further analysis of the excess cases of severe dengue and hospitalization in the baseline seronegative dengue 3 infection was not statistically significant. So that really negates any of our fear about that vaccine. And besides, WHO has already mandated that there should be ongoing post licensure study also. Once the vaccine is used, the study should go on parallelly. So that also will give us more confidence about the vaccine in future.
So I think the phase 4 studies will
Yes.
probably, if there are any signals, etc., it will probably be picking it up because of the large cohort which will be immunized.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so finally, I mean, we have discussed so much about the vaccine which has got licensed. Anything going forward in the future? Are there any other vaccines in the pipeline? Can you please tell us something about that?
Yes, there has been a lot of work on dengue vaccine over the years. I mean, various approaches were looked into, like the live attenuated, the inactivated virus, the mRNA, the nucleic acid vaccine, then the recombinant vaccine, subunit vaccine, synthetic peptide, and virus-like particles. All were looked into, and some really matured and some did not mature. Whatever we have right now are all the live attenuated vaccine. Now there is one vaccine which is into the phase 3 trial, and it was the Butantan vaccine. It's a full genome engineered tetravalent live vaccine, but there were few adverse effects in the study in Brazil. So that trial has been stopped. So we are not looking towards the Butantan vaccine. In India, we are fortunate that few of the vaccines are progressing very well, like the Turtavax DV. It's another live attenuated vaccine with all 4 dengue virus based on PRM and E genes. So again, it's live attenuated, which is into trials, and maybe in near future we can get it. Then there is a DSV4 vaccine where hepatitis B virus surface antigen platform is used as a mosaic virus-like particle, and it expresses the ED3 and not the PRM. So these 2 vaccines are in the pipeline, and let's hope that more vaccines will be tried, and we can get a real plethora of dengue vaccines.
Right. So I think there's a lot of excitement there with the first licensed vaccine in the absence of vaccine in our, at least in our part of the globe in all these years. I think the first one will definitely be, well received and eagerly looked forward to. But as you mentioned, in the days ahead, we would probably be, working towards getting the ideal dengue vaccine. And I'm sure that will be going a long way in helping to uh, alleviate suffering from dengue, as well as probably in the days ahead, eradicate the disease. So I think that is really, really good news. Thank you so much, Dr. Jaydeep sir, for enlightening us with so many details regarding dengue and the dengue vaccine and what the future holds. Really, really grateful for the time that you have spent with us. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sumitha. It was absolute pleasure to interact with you on a scientific platform.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.